First, the bad news. SAP Business AI won't help you generate cubist versions of your family's holiday photos. But it will help you understand which supplier is best to help you roll out your plant-based packaging in Southeast Asia, or identify the training your junior project manager needs to rise up the ranks, and automate repetitive tasks while you focus on big innovations, so you can be ready for the next opportunity. Revolutionary technology, real-world results. That's SAP Business AI.
Introducing Royal Caribbean's newest ship, Icon of the Seas, the ultimate family vacation. The ultimate 6 slides, 8 neighborhoods, 0 compromise vacation. The ultimate never done that, can't wait to do it vacation. The ultimate chillin' by a different pool every day of the week vacation. This is the Icon of Vacations. Icon of the Seas, arriving in 2024. Book today. Come seek the Royal Caribbean. Ships Registry, Bahamas.
Welcome into Missing the Point. I'm joined alongside by the real BK, Bob Kelly. It's been a long time. We had Craig D'Alessandro. You won't see his face, but I promise you he's here. The EP that does all the work and never takes any of the credit publicly, aside from himself. But this week, it's Super Bowl week, Bobby, and we have a lot to discuss. There's a lot of news outside of the Super Bowl, but I figure like this is a pretty good place to start. But before we get into that, why don't we do something that we don't usually do? Pleasantries. How are you?
I'm good, man. I mean, we might as well. It's been a while since we've seen each other, you know? Might as well catch up with each other for the public to see, you know? Why not?
Yeah.
I'm good, man. Exhausted. I'm not sure if any of the listeners out there know. I have a 3-month-old.
Oh, do you guys see that? That was the dad card. You just played it.
Oh, pulled it early, yeah. Yeah, no, it's she's the cutest thing in the world, but the worst, I don't want to say the worst part about having a baby. The only downside is you can't ever get mad when she keeps you up till 4 a.m, because then she'll just give you this little smile, and it's just everything goes away. All your madness, everything is gone.
Yeah, I mean, I was your roommate in college. You kept me up till 4 o'clock in the morning, and you didn't have a cute smile, so I kind of understand it, minus the happy face after. But I'm great. Thank you for asking. Let's get right into Super Bowl week, Bobby. It is the matchup that I think, it's not getting a lot of attention. Everyone said that it feels like a down year or not a lot of buzz. I'm really excited for the Super Bowl because I do think that these are the two teams that match up the best against each other out of the ones that were left, going into championship week. But interested to hear your take.
Yeah, this was definitely my number one pick for the Super Bowl combination coming into this week. I just think when you look down the line at the matchups from top to bottom, it's just juicy matchup after juicy matchup. I mean, obviously we got Joe Burrow, cool Burrow, and we got Matthew Stafford, who might be the biggest choke artist of all quarterbacks. We're not sure. We'll see after this week.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
But then we got Jalen versus Jamar Chase, man. That's going to be just 4 quarters of the best corner, one of the best corners versus one of the best wide receivers in the game. So I'm pumped, man. And also, plus it's different. That's the biggest thing that I'm pumped about is for the first time in, 30 years, we have a Super Bowl without Tom Brady, without Peyton Manning, without Ben Roethlisberger, and without the 49ers. Every Super Bowl in the last, I think it was 25 years, has had one of those things in it. So for the first time in that long, we got something different. I'm pumped about it.
It's worth noting that 10 out of those last 25 were Tom Brady. But like that we don't need to really get into that. Almost half. Yeah, I mean, when you look at the tail of the tape, right? Everyone, and when I say everyone, like if you go on to the 4-Letter Network's website, it says that the LA Rams are 66% favored to win this game. That instantly makes me want the Bengals to win, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But I think I truly think it's going to come down to the moment being too big, right? And I think what we've seen from the Tiger King, Joe Burrow, is that he owns the moment. He literally, there's not one moment that there's been too big for him. He came back from down 14 or more points twice against the Chiefs, once at Arrowhead in the AFC title game. I mean, that moment would have made any rookie or second year quarterback's butthole pucker up just a little bit. And he walked in there and he absolutely never lost his cool or his faith in that in his team. Don't want to say I told you so this early in the show, but I did tell you that if the Chiefs scored less than 24 points, the Bengals were going to win. And I picked the Bengals. Funny how that happened. But in this game, I'm with you, man. Jamar Chase against Jalen Ramsey. That's the matchup, which then means if they neutralize each other or if Ramsey shuts him down, who's the next guy up? Right? I mean, they might have, is it their tight end might come back, CJ
Uzomah? Yeah.
He might play. I do think, and this is just a hot take, again, really early on in the show, if the Bengals win this game, Tyler Boyd will have the most receiving yards for the Bengals. That's just my take, not a prop bet. No, we're not going to get into that yet, but I mean, I know that you mentioned that these teams are so evenly matched, Bobby, but when you really think about it, right? So points per game. If we were just talking, just 2.5 guys talking, because Craig is here, but he's on mute and his camera's off some of the time. When I would say who scores the most points out of these two teams, who is it?
Like game by game wise?
Yeah, this season.
I'd probably have to go Rams just because of the high poweredness of the offense. That first 10 weeks, they were awesome. They fell off after that, but I got to go Rams.
Points per game. The Rams of Los Angeles, 27.1. The Bengals, 27.1.
Wow.
Dead on.
Trick question.
Defense. You think about all the all-stars that the Rams have, and they mortgage their future again to get Von Miller. Who has the better defense? Is it even close?
No, I'm gonna guess Bengals on that one because I know a couple stats of the Rams. So they have the top-notch guys.
Yep.
Once you get past them, it's a crater to the bottom. So I'm gonna go Bengals.
Points per game. The Bengals allow 19.7. The Rams allow 18.3.
Wow, wrong again.
So, but when you think about it, that's why for all of you out there listening right now, don't listen to the 4-letter networks. Listen to this 3-letter pod, right? You know what I mean? Because this is an even matchup. This is almost as even as it gets. You have two teams that average 27 points, and two teams that hold the opposing team to less than 20. Figure it out. So I do think it's going to come down to the quarterbacks. And when you want to, if you want to talk a little bit more about that, Bobby, when you think about Matt Stafford, right? I'll tee you up for this one. Matthew Stafford is 3-3 in the playoffs in his career. All 3 wins have come this year. So before, obviously, he was 0-3, terrible team. We all get that. Does the winning streak continue, or what do you think happens in this game that propels one quarterback over the other?
It kind of goes back. So this actually kind of leads right into my matchup cue here, because I think the two biggest matchups in this game are going to affect each quarterback. Actually, are going to affect Joe Burrow tenfold. So the first thing is the Rams D-line versus the Bengals O-line. If Joe Burrow can stay upright in this game, right, the Bengals could win this game by 10, 15. If Joe Burrow gets sacked 7 times in this game, the Bengals could still win this game by like 3. They did it against the Titans. But I think that's a huge matchup because if Burrow's up, I think he's going to tear apart this Rams defense. Because beyond Jalen Ramsey, right, if you look at this Rams secondary, it is, to say that they're average would be giving them the benefit of the doubt. So if we're going by PFF ranks, everyone out there is listening knows what PFF is. Deontay DeAyon, 68.3, 73rd out of all cornerbacks. David Long, 61.1, 130th out of all cornerbacks. Taylor Rapp, 58.8, 151st out of all secondary. Nick Scott, 58.7, 152nd. And Darius Williams, 58.5, 154. And that's the ranking out of all cornerbacks and safeties in the league. And then you have Jalen Ramsey way up at the top at 5th. Well, guess what? Jalen Ramsey's got his hands full, guys. He's not going to be able to bail you out of this game. He's not going to be able to cover, have the zone read and have the man-to-man coverage. You know why? Because he's playing goddamn Jamar Chase all day long. And if you're telling me that Tee Higgins and Tyler Boyd can't beat up on this secondary, as long as Burrow's on his feet, that's what's going to be the game. And it was the same thing last year. If the Chiefs kept Mahomes up that game last year, the Chiefs might win that game. But the Tampa Bay front seven took that game over. And to me, that's what the Rams have to do to win. And that's what the Bengals have to do to win.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when you read off those stats about how just cowboy-like that secondary, 2020 cowboy-like that secondary is, sorry, Bobby, is, and you still just come to the conclusion that they're still only allowing 18 points a game, what does that tell you? They have not met someone or come across a team that has been able to overcome that pass rush, right? It's Aaron Donald, it's Von Miller, and it's Jalen Ramsey taking away your first read. So, I'm not a coach, and none of us here are NFL coaches. But if I were, I would make the argument right now that Jamar Chase should not be Joe Burrow's first read, because he will probably be locked up. If they start passing to Higgins or to Boyd early and quickly, that will make the Rams adjust on their feet. And maybe that opens up the chance for Jamar Chase to come alive. I do also think, to your point, when you said that you think that they could win this game by 10, if this becomes anything more than a one-score game, I think we're going to learn everything that we need to know about Matthew Stafford. I think we already know it, right? But the sports fan in us say, yeah, well, he was with the Lions. I get it. Let's see what has to happen and what he does when he's down 10 points in the second quarter or the third quarter, and he cannot make a mistake. Because what we have seen, in that Tampa Bay game, he wasn't awful, but when he needed to make a play, when they were making that third quarter run or the fourth quarter run, he couldn't do it. There might come a time in this game where Matthew Stafford, the man, again, that you mortgaged your future on, when you traded Sunshine and all your first round picks to get him, he has to do it. This is the game for him to do it. And if I was a betting man, I'm not, I wouldn't bet on him.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford is absolutely one of those quarterbacks that you bet on. And within the first quarter, within the first two quarters, you know how that bet is going. Another thing is, once Matthew Stafford gets down, to me, your bet's over. Because you're completely right. Every time this dude gets down big, he either has that huge pick, the pick six, or something happens with his team where his team just absolutely melts down around him. So I couldn't agree more with that one, man. I got to say, though, so we've been spending a lot of times heating up the Bengals. We've been spending a lot of time kind of propping them up. And I feel like we're kind of forgetting about our guy Cooper Kupp on the Rams, okay? So I think that's another big piece of this is obviously if Cooper Kupp dominates this game like he has for literally the entire 22 regular season, I don't think it matters what happens with Matthew Stafford, man, because listen, Cooper Kupp could make, I don't even know, fucking Quincy Carter look like a good quarterback. He can make Brian Hoyer look like a good quarterback. You like that name?
No, he cannot.
I'm just saying, like, Cooper Kupp is a special football player. So I just can't wait to watch, Chase versus Kupp. Can't wait to watch Ramsey versus Kupp. It's just going to be such a good game, man. I'm pumped.
Listen, Tampa Bay, you don't have to be a brilliant coach to understand what not to do with Cooper Kupp. If you are tied, or if you are up by 2 or 3 or 2 points, and all they need to do is get a field goal to tie you or to beat you. do not play zone coverage against Cooper Kupp, because that's what Tampa did. Or don't call a blitz and then forget to have the linebacker actually blitz, right? So cover him. Make Odell Beckham beat you, and it's that sounds like I'm hating on him. I'm not. Cooper Kupp is the man. 145 catches for just under 2,000 yards and 16 touchdowns this year. That is a banner year. What's interesting, though, Ja'Marr Chase as a rookie, had 64 less catches for only 480 less yards and 3 less touchdowns. So the Bengals are more likely to take the top off of the defense. Now, I don't know how you're going to stop Cooper Kupp. Nobody has this year. But again, if you do, if Odell Beckham is playing against soft coverage as well, he's going to light you up. I don't think that he's I don't think that he's a head case. I don't think that he's crazy, but I do believe that if the game is not going his way by like the second or the third, and he feels like he's not being treated the way he should be treated by the offense, he could take himself out of it. So it is going to be interesting to see how they manage that. But this game has a ton of storylines.
Yeah, man. I gotta ask you a couple questions here. So, when you look at this game, right, and you look at who you think is going to win, what I keep looking at is the disparity between the Bengals, how young they are, in their young head coach, young quarterback, young wide receivers, and then you look at the Rams, and it's literally the complete opposite, where you have OBJ, you have Kupp, you have Stafford, McVay's been to a Super Bowl, Donald, you have all these all-star veterans all over the field. What do you think is more advantage? Do you think the Rams have the advantage going with the veterans who have been here before and who have been in the league and know how to handle the situation? Or is it ignorance is bliss? We're here. We're going to kick your ass because we're the Bengals. It doesn't even matter that it's a Super Bowl. We're the fucking Bengals.
But I mean, you need to have your lieutenants on the field, not have the moment be too big for them, right? And I've already said that a couple times today, so I'm sorry for repeating myself. But we know that as we've seen so far, there's not been a moment that's too big for Joe Burrow, right? This is his first Super Bowl. But he's going into it as, man, this kid has accomplished so much. Look at him, and like his career is going to be so good. Other side, Matt Stafford, this is his first Super Bowl, and he's walking into it. You need to win to shut everybody else up, because as it's currently constituted, everybody thinks you're a choker and that you're a loser, that you're 7 and 184,000 against winning teams, right? We've talked about that a couple times.
That's a factual stat, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, you can look that up. That's not fake news. But then you can also, Odell Beckham Jr. This is his first go at it. He's never been to a Super Bowl. So do I like him or Ja'Marr Chase, who the last time that he was on the field in a playoff situation, not in the NFL, it was to win the college football championship, right? There is a pedigree on the Bengals side. That being said, pedigree, moments, all of that. If you cannot block Aaron Donald and Von Miller, it's over. Everybody and their mother, including us, will link you back to the draft recap show that we all had. You can check the show notes here, where we said, I get why the Bengals went for Ja'Marr Chase, but they should have drafted that offensive lineman that was there.
Penny Sewell?
Yeah, they should have done it, because what good is Ja'Marr Chase if Joe Burrow is not standing up? We're going to find out. We're going to find out on Sunday.
It's funny because, neither side was wrong there, right? Well, when you look back at it, yes, if they had picked Sewell, it would have been awful because they wouldn't have had Chase, electrifying player. But, listen, Joe Burrow got sacked an NFL record 51 times this year. So it's not like it was oh, thank God we didn't pick that offensive line. No, you needed him too. It just so happens that Ja'Marr Chase and Joe Burrow, have the chemistry and are just so goddamn good that it doesn't matter when he gets sacked 7 times. All right, he's still going to go back there and just be like, listen, man, it doesn't matter. I'm Joe Burrow. I'm just going to scramble over here for this first down. And he's unbelievable, man.
Yeah, I mean, I would also just say before you move on, though, what comforts me is knowing that, Joe Burrow isn't coming out of, the AFC East where they don't have really good blitzing defenses. He's coming out of a division where Pittsburgh goes for you, Baltimore goes for you, Myles Garrett and the Cleveland Browns, say what you want about them, they go after you. And he came out of that division and he came out of the conference. That tells me that he knows how to adapt. And let's just see if McVay can stick with blitzing him, or if Joe starts checking it down early, what do you do from a defensive standpoint?
Yeah, and I think that he's going to look to check it down early. I think that's going to be a huge key. Another huge key is definitely going to be the run game. Rams only allow, I think it's under 4 yards per carry for the postseason and for the regular season. So I think that's huge. Joe Mixon is going to be a big part of this game because if he can run the ball and you can start doing play action against this Rams defense, you can keep that front seven, away from just pass rushing constantly. That's going to be huge, man. Which kind of leads me over to, you already said it. So the Rams mortgage the future this offseason. Then again, in the regular season. And to me, going back to my original question, is like, what's the advantage? I think the biggest advantage here when it comes to the veterans versus, the young guys is the guy the Rams traded for at the trade deadline. That's Von Miller. He is going to be such a big presence for this Rams defense, such a calming presence because, Aaron Donald's been there, Ramsey's been there, all these dudes have been there. Guess what? Von Miller's been there. He won, and not only did this dude win, but he won Super Bowl MVP. So that's such a calming presence for the Rams in that locker room. I'm still not sure who I'm going to pick. We'll get there at the end. But I really think Von Miller is going to play a huge part in this game, strictly because of that experience that he has.
Yeah, it's real. I mean, it's for sure real, and I don't want to discount that. This isn't 2015 Von Miller. Now, can he channel that for one game? Can he convince his teammates around him that they should rally around him for this one game? Maybe. We've seen it before. I would just say if the game comes down to Von Miller being able to make a play or not, the Rams have absolutely mismanaged that game because that game should live and die on the arm of Matthew Stafford, on the hands of Cooper Kupp, and on the ability of Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald. And you should use Von Miller as the supplement, right? He's going to get you over the hump. And that really helps you like crush a team. I don't know. And again, hate me if you want. I don't know that I would trust him with the game on the line, just given his age and given all of the wear and tear on those tires.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's the play that's going to be the big part because I mean obviously Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, and the rest of these all-stars are going to be the difference on that defense. I'm just saying the presence of that of that championship pedgree being on the field. I just think it's such a big thing for them. Now I gotta say, man. I'm a little nervous. So I don't want to say nervous. Yeah, I'm a little hesitant to pick the Bengals, okay? And I'm going to tell you why. When it comes to history, when it comes to what you've seen in the NFL, right? You have the bottom of the barrel. You have the basement of the NFL, right? You have the New York Jets. You have the Jacksonville Jaguars. You have the Cleveland Browns, and you have the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, so I just think the past history, I don't want to say it's going to have a big deal, but I feel like it's got to play a factor, right? I mean, the Bengals literally haven't been here since they lost to the 49ers by $1 billion, and before that, they had never been there. Since then, they haven't even sniffed the Super Bowl. They haven't even sniffed the championship game. Nevertheless, a Super Bowl. How big of a factor do you think that plays? I mean, it's got to have something in their heads. Anything?
No, because I would just say, like, to your original point, this team is too young to care about any of that. They're not They're not lifelong Cincinnati people. They're all just pretty much newly acquired, newly groomed Bengals, right? So they don't care that the 88 Bengals get their asses kicked by Montana 6 years after they get their asses kicked by Montana the first time in 1982, right? Like, they don't care about those things. We're here. Just think about it. In the last 3 years, their quarterback will have won the Heisman Trophy, will have taken his team, the LSU to the college football championship, would have been drafted number 1, then would have led his team to the Super Bowl.
He won Rookie of the Year too, didn't he?
No, he was injured.
No, Herbert won Rookie of the Year, right?
Yeah. But so based on any of those accolades, does it sound like there's any chance that he doesn't feel like they belong here?
Yeah. They call him Joe Burrow for a reason.
Yeah. So again, I would just say that the inexperience in terms of the NFL, that probably helps them because they don't care. Do you know that there are people on this team that weren't even alive? Their quarterback wasn't alive the last time the Bengals won the Super Bowl.
Not even the Super Bowl the last time they won a playoff game, right?
Right.
There had never been, before that game against the Raiders, there had literally, it is a factual statement that there had never been a text message sent in the history of text messages about the Cincinnati Bengals winning a playoff game. I think it's like the last playoff victory for the Bengals was like January 1992 before this year. And the first text message ever sent was like January 1994. So not only hadn't there been a text about a Bengal, but it missed it by about a year and a half. So
it was 31 years since they'd won a playoff game. Imagine that, 31 years. So yeah, I mean, I don't think, I think that it's not, obviously it's not the same. I think the spread's only a 4-point spread at this point.
Mm-hmm.
This feels a lot like your normal, David versus Goliath. I don't think that all the pundits are expecting the Bengals to put on a huge fight or put up a big fight. And just to relate it back to another show that you can find in the show notes, to the rewrap, it's a little bit like 2001 Patriots versus the Rams, right? Except the Bengals are getting much more respect. I would have to say, or maybe the Rams aren't getting nearly as much as they were 20 years ago.
I think it's the Rams aren't getting as much as they were.
I mean, they were like 14-point favorites.
Yeah, this isn't the greatest show on turf, bro. Marshall Faulk ain't walking through that door. Okay. So one last matchup question, and then we're gonna get into some. We're not gonna go too much into the bets, but I do want to touch on some cool prop bets that I did see out there. But one last thing before we get into some little betting action out there. The only big matchup I don't think we've talked about yet is the Bengals secondary versus the Rams wide receivers. Okay. I know we touched on Kupp, but there's more than just Kupp when it comes to this offense. We have Kupp, you got Van Jefferson, obviously you got OBJ, Higbee. Who's the other guy? I forget his name. Cam Akers, Sony Michel. The list goes on.
Sony Michel.
I know, right? Mr. 3.8 himself. So, how big of a advantage? I don't even want to call it an advantage because listen. Do you think the Bengals that we see is going to be the Bengals that we saw in the first half against the Chiefs that looked overmatched, that looked like they couldn't stop that high octane offense, or the one we saw in the second half that made those adjustments, man? Because you've seen it time and time again that it literally is a Jekyll and Hyde Bengals defense, right? They can give up 40 points and then they can give up 3 points. So which one do you think we'll see, and why?
Well, I guess what I would say is that those teams are the same teams, right? It's not an anomaly that the Bengals are down 17 points against the Chiefs and came back to win, because it happened twice this year. So, it's
a great point.
You can say that they played terribly in the first half, and yeah, I think that the record book would state that. But for a team to be able to make those type of adjustments at halftime and institute them and follow through with them and come through to win the game because they've already done it before, I think that speaks more positively about their character. And I would just also say, maybe I'll even ask the question: Chiefs offense or Rams offense? Gun to your head, Which one would you take?
Wow. That is a tough one. I think Chiefs offense, man, right? They have more and they got the quarterback.
So if that's the blueprint, right? And they were down, like I said, 17 twice and still won both of those games. How do you not believe that they could do that against the Rams? Now, maybe it comes down to coaching. Andy Reid is one of, if not the worst clock managers I've ever seen. Ever. Say what you want about Mike Tomlin.
But I got one for you in Dallas. I'll challenge you with him all day.
But before Tomlin did it, Andy Reid was doing it in 4 consecutive NFC title games with the Eagles, right? So this is from EST 1999. He's been doing it now for 4 decades. That's what he does.
Since Donovan McNabb was throwing up chunky soup.
Right, exactly. So if McVay does not if he manages the clock better, which it'd be hard not to, maybe the Bengals don't have time. I don't know. It does feel like that the Rams trust their rushing offense a little bit more than the Chiefs do. So maybe they can eat up more clock. But I think it's going to be, if the Bengals hold here's what I'm going to tell you. If the Bengals hold the Rams to less than 75 yards rushing, they're going to win that game by 10. Like, it's not going to be close, because
I like that.
The Bengals over the season averaged allowing 128 rushing yards per game, and the Rams only allow 54. So if you see the Bengals with the ability to cut 50 yards off the rushing attack, it's because now the Rams have to throw. And oh, by the way, the Bengals averaged more passing yards per game than the Rams did all season. Man, this is so weird for me to say. I don't see a scenario in my head, if everyone remains healthy, where Joe Burrow loses this game, or if it's a blowout. I don't see that happening. So if everyone remains healthy and the Bengals lose, they will lose by 1 possession. I can see Matthew Stafford losing by 14.
I like that a lot. I especially like I really think if the Rams don't have 75 yards rushing, I think that's a great call, man. Because if Sony Michel and Cam Akers can't get something going against this Bengals defense, it was not the correct year. It was like 102 yards per game. But so it was close. That was good. Over 100. That's pretty good. Yeah. But so over 100 yards per game given up on the ground, they need to get 75. Agreed. The other point, right? So the Bengals defense this year, before the playoffs, was 26th in the league in passing yards surrendered a game, and 25th in the league, or 24th in the league in points per game, right? Since the playoffs began, the Rams have now gone, or not the Rams. Did I say the Rams the whole time?
No. Bengals.
The Bengals have gone, or actually in their final 7 games, including the playoffs, the Bengals defense has held opponents to fewer than 21 points in 5 of those games, including 3 of them in the teens. In 2 of 3 games, the Bengals defense held their foes to fewer than 19, while holding the Chiefs to 24 on the championship on Sunday. So I'm going to pull a mic, right, and tell you that if the Rams don't score more than 21 points, it is a guarantee from me, a guarantee that the Bengals win this game. If the Rams want a chance in this game, right, when you look at the makeup of these teams, right, you have the Bengals who are battle tested, who are tougher, who are going to kill you in the trenches, who are just going to, I guess not in the trenches, their offensive line's trash, I forget that one, who are going to battle you until that last second, right? Then you have the Rams, a team that almost blew a 27-3 lead in the conference championship to Mr. Brady himself. I just feel like if it comes down to a low scoring, punch you in the face, beat the shit out of you type game, it's got to be advantage Bengals just because of the makeup and the mojo that team has going, right?
I'm going to do one better.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to see your, I'll pull a mic and pull a mic.
How do you pull a mic often?
At least weekly. I would say if the Bengals score more than 28 points, they're going to win the game. Regardless of if it's 45, it's 31, doesn't matter. That's their number. If they get to 28 points, they're going to win this game.
So I think so everyone out there.
We agreed without saying the same thing.
No, I know. So everyone out there saw that FanDuel bet for the for the championship games. I know you guys saw it, where the guy gets the correct score for both games and wagered $20 and made like $140,000, something stupid like that. I think we just got our correct score bet, man. I think we just did this like right on the air, just genuinely 28-21. 28-21, right? Okay.
Feels right.
We're going to put that in the back of the head for later. So that kind of goes right into the next topic. So every year, the Super Bowl is amazing, right? Everyone loves the Super Bowl because not only is it the biggest football game of the year, not only is there all this anticipation, all this storylines, but even non-football fans can enjoy the Super Bowl because not only you have the commercials, but you also have prop bets and little prop games that you can do. Now, there's a lot of in-game bets, a lot of things that we can talk about the actual game, which absolutely we'll get into. I'm not going to get much into like the yards and stuff because that can get very lengthy, a lot of over-unders there. But there's a couple non-sports related bets that I did kind of want to chat about, see what you guys think, and see where we're leading here. So one of my favorites to do every single year, obviously, is the length of the National Anthem, okay? The length of the National Anthem this year is at 1 minute and 55 seconds, okay? I got some good stats for you. Hang on. So the past 16 Super Bowls, there have been 9 unders. Billy Joel with the low at 1:30 and 7 overs. Alicia Keys has the longest national anthem ever at 2 minutes and 35 seconds.
She can sing whatever she wants for as long as she wants.
Average length is about 2 minutes. And when she sang the national anthem, Mickey Guyton, which, by the way, I don't really know who that is. You guys have to I'm not culturally kept up to date, apparently.
I don't know what that means. But I think she's a country singer.
Oh, okay. So when she sang at the National Memorial Day concert, she kept a very brisk pace. So what do you think? Over, under 1 minute and 55. Does she savor it this time around because it's the Super Bowl?
Under. Now, but here's the thing. The thing about this is I have a question. I don't want to, this doesn't need to be its own segment. Do they sing live? Because if they don't sing live, then the people that have this information and have the recording already know how long it is.
Yeah, no, they sing live.
You sure?
Yeah, it's usually on the 50-yard line.
Yeah, but they're lip syncing.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's what I mean by that. No, I don't know. I don't know who does, who doesn't. But if they do, and that's a real prop bet. If I work for the NFL production and I'm like, over under 1 minute 55, you better believe this bitch is going 157 and not this bitch the singer, this bitch the song length. Okay, before you try and cancel me. Just want to make sure that we're on the same page here. I'm going to say under.
You're going under? I got to say, I think it's over. Just because I love it when it goes over. Because you sit there. There was a video that was going around last year of these dudes that needed the singer to hold that last note, Brave, for like 5 seconds. And they sat there and he literally held it for like 5.4 seconds. And the whole place went nuts. I got to go over just because I love it.
Can I give you one?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
Will Snoop Dogg smoke on stage? Now, over the course of the last 5 years, Snoop Dogg has performed 344 times total. And during those, I got my own stats too. And during those, out of those 344 stage appearances, he has smoked 195 times. Does he smoke on stage? Yes is plus 195. No is minus 250, by the way.
Oh, so you get plus odds if he smokes weed on stage? Yeah, I'm going with smoking weed on stage. If there's anyone who is ballsy enough to do it on the national stage like that, it's Snoop Dogg. And if there's anyone who would do it to give, I don't want to say give the middle finger, but yeah, to give the middle finger to like,
I mean, it's legal.
Right. So, well, that's true. But like,
this
to
isn't
be like,
1994 anymore. I mean, yeah, if he dropped crystal meth on stage, he'd be giving the middle finger to the man. But he's literally smoking a glaucoma
Snoop
medication.
Dogg is tripping balls.
And is it Snoop Dogg or Snoop Lion? Like, yeah, I don't know if this even is, if it's even a thing. Only thing the only reason why it would be a controversy is because the NFL doesn't allow you to smoke marijuana because they're headquartered in New York, which again, I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this.
It's legal.
It's legal.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. Nope, you're right. Makes no sense. It's because the NFL just wants the big pharma companies to make money and they just keep popping, it's a whole thing. Anyway, So so it leads me right into my next one. It's perfect. So first person to sing during the halftime show. All right, we got Dr. Dre at plus 150, Snoop Dogg plus 180, Eminem plus 250, Mary J plus 300, Kendrick Lamar plus 350. Personally, I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's Mary J, man. It's got to be Mary J. But what about that? I forget what the song's called. But there's one song where Mary J Blige just comes out and just belts right at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think it goes with that.
I don't know here's what I need to, who was advertised first on the billing? I thought it was Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem. So I think that they're telling us something there. I think he sings first.
All right, fine. We'll go. I like Dre. I think Eminem is a no bet for this one. Like Eminem is not going to be the first person out. He's not going to be the first person to sing. Eminem's the dude that, everything gets quiet and then all of a sudden the spotlight shines and it's just Eminem and everyone goes fucking crazy.
Yep. I'm going to give you one more, then you give me one more. Who will the Super Bowl MVP mention first in their speech? Teammates, God or Jesus, the city, family or family members, coach, owner, or none of the above?
If it's Joe Burrow, it's the city.
Oh.
If it's Matthew Stafford, it's God.
Or Jesus.
Or Jesus, yeah. Because he put him in the situation to get him out of Detroit and bring him into LA. Or actually, if it's Stafford, it's either God or Jesus or the Rams organization for believing in him that he could turn this franchise around.
I think it's going to be his wife for always believing that he had this potential.
It's a good one. So we're going to go back to halftime. First song, okay? California Love, next episode, still Dre, Nothing But a G Thing, Lose Yourself. This might be the winner. Drop It Like It's Hot, All the Stars, or Humble, or all other songs, aka The Field.
Oh God! So I don't think that it's California. I don't think that's the one that they lead off with. That's going to be, obviously it's going to be song. Well, what if the first person to sing is Tupac? I mean, that'd be so damn funny.
So that's another prop too. Is there going to be a Tupac hologram?
There might be. I think it's still Dre.
I like that song. And it would be perfect because it's been so long since anyone's seen Dr. Dre perform. It's been, I think that's a good one. Or a Field song, I Need a Doctor. Remember that one? That was a good one.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That could happen. Take it easy, recycled percussion, please. Craig, did you have something that you wanted to say? No? Nothing?
Are you sure?
You put the microphone to your face.
Yeah, no, bring it back. Let's hear it. What do you think?
If you don't like it, just edit it out. You have the keys to this car.
You do it.
This kind of music just isn't my,
Yeah, all right. No, you shouldn't have said that. Let's keep going. So, anything else you want to talk about the Super Bowl, Bobby?
About the actual, so yeah. I mean, we haven't been on for that long, have we? We still got time.
Well, no. Yeah. I just think now, that comment, Craig's last comment was, that just sucked so much. But speaking of sucking, how's your golf game going, Bobby?
It's not too bad. I wish there was something out there that could just, help me out a little bit. Maybe take a couple strokes off my game. I wish that existed though.
So what you're saying is like you want it just to suck just a little less.
Just a little less, bro. Just a little less.
Well, the good news is you can get remote golf lessons with Skillest. So I don't know if you ever heard of it, but Skillest is affordable on-demand golf lessons anywhere, anytime. You can stay connected with your coaches on chat or Zoom. And these aren't just random coaches. These aren't, you're driving down to the driving range, paying ass loads of money for people to still watch you slice it right into the woods off the first tee. These coaches have worked with Tiger Woods, Brooks Koepka, and even Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors. So check out Skillest and enter code MTP at checkout for 20% off of your first lesson. That's MTP for 20% off of your first lesson. You can find them. They're available in the Google Play Store, the App Store, and online at skillest.com. I just felt like you have Craig kind of teetering and seesawing around some things that you can't say in 2022 anymore.
We hear missing the point, support the NFL and all their opinions on all matters, no matter what.
Oh yeah, you want to swing a golf club? Well, this is how you do it. Go ahead.
So wait, before we go on. So I do have a couple.
Not that bad of a person, people.
Yeah, neither was John Gruden.
Ouch.
He actually was a shitty person.
I can hear a certain 2-letter simmer right now that's just chomping at the bit to tell us about how just
oh Jesus Christ,
we're just blown.
I'm surprised you can't hear it like it was like. So anyway, a couple non-crazy bets that don't involve yards and anything crazy. So first one is, will a highlight video clip of Chris Collinsworth playing in one of the Bengals Super Bowls be shown during the broadcast?
Yes, as it should.
As it should. Has to be, right?
I mean,
Chris,
sorry, he's probably the best receiver that they've ever had. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer, right? Yeah, of course he is. Yep.
Yeah. Who else is there?
Ocho Cinco, TJ Houshmandzili, the 2 years that Terrell Owens was there.
Championship.
And then, I guess now it's Jamar Chase or AJ Green. AJ Green probably has a lot of the stats.
AJ Green. Yeah, maybe.
A lot of stats. But yeah, you better show Chris Collinsworth, because that Abe Lincoln lookalike is the best thing that city had for so long.
Yeah, it's a fact. You got it. You have to, especially just calling the game. You know what I mean? Like, come on. So so we'll do 2 more, and then we're going to do MVP.
Just to be clear, when I say we're going to do 2 more, that was six more ago.
Yeah, well, it's only been 45 minutes. We're fine. How long can you talk about Deflategate? Probably a long time, huh?
Right.
So, will there be a flea flicker, non-QB pass, fake punt, or onside kick in the Super Bowl? Yes or no?
Yes.
Which one?
Thank you for asking. I think that there will be an onside kick.
Onside kick. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of feeling. So this kind of leads into this next one. Players to throw a pass over 2.5. So obviously you're going the under there. So you don't think there's going to be a non-QB pass?
No.
OBJ, man.
I don't think there's going to be 3 non-QB passes.
Well, no. Number of players to throw a pass. So Stafford, Burrow, one more.
No. No.
Okay. So just no.
No.
All right. Who do you like for MVP? Last one. So I'm going to give you a couple. I'll give you a couple names and their odds, just so you know. Cooper Kupp plus 460. Joe Mixon plus 600. Jamar Chase. No, that can't be right. I did that. Yeah. That's first touchdown. So odds to win Super Bowl MVP. Obviously the top 2, Stafford and Burrow, plus 120, plus 225. But if you were to pick any non-quarterback to win the Super Bowl MVP, I'll give you a couple. We got Kupp plus 50, plus 550, Donald plus 900, Chase plus 1600, OBJ plus 2800, Von Miller plus 3300, Akers and Mixon both at plus 3300.
All right. So the trouble that I have with this is that if you assume that if Chase, Kupp, or OBJ are in the running for an MVP, that they're just going to give it to the quarterback for throwing them the ball right now, unless it's like a jet sweep or something like that really accounts for a lot of the yards. I'm going to go with Jalen. Okay, so I firmly believe that the Bengals are going to win this game. However, if they don't, the MVP will be Jalen Ramsey.
Because a couple picks, you think?
I think, what I'll say he has 2 picks and a fumble recovery. By the way, one of the picks is a pick 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just sprinkle a lot right now.
I think if it's not Burrow or Stafford, it's got to be Kupp or Chase, man. Because when you look back at anyone who's not a quarterback to win MVP, think about Deion Branch won a Super Bowl MVP, right? Julian Edelman won a Super Bowl MVP.
Okay, quick question. Not to get on the Patriots tirade. Does Julian Edelman win the MVP that year if it had not been for that one catch? That was the most ridiculous catch I've ever seen in my life.
Julian Edelman doesn't win the MVP if anyone scores a touchdown in that game.
No, but let's say the Patriots still win, but he just doesn't catch that ball that almost hit the ground off of defenders. Does he win the MVP?
Wasn't that a different year?
No.
Yeah, Edelman didn't win the Falcons. Edelman didn't win. Edelman won
right.
the Rams.
Rams. You're right. Yeah.
So that's why I think if anyone scores a touchdown in that game, Edelman does not win MVP, and they win MVP because that's why he won. Remember, he was like 11 for 129, and no one else did anything that entire game. But those are the two for me. All right, Mike, it's time.
Hold on. Hold on.
You're gonna tease it. Go ahead.
No. What's the final score of the game, Bobby? Now, we said 28-21. Like, this is your one chance to cement your prediction and your legacy here as the second annual MTB Super Bowl preview show.
I know I've been trying to talk the Bengals up because Mike's been sitting here just jerking the Bengals off all show.
Yep, these are happy tissues.
I'm gonna roll with the Bengals, man. They've showed me everything I need to know these past few weeks. Heart wins Super Bowls. We've seen it before. Giants, all these teams that right. What do we need?
Gotta have heart.
Bengals 27, Rams.
Bengals 31, Rams 17. That's my prediction.
I'm putting money on both of these scores.
Great.
It's legal in New York, by the way, so it's okay.
Now, before we wrap up this show, you all are going to appreciate this. We're going to do a little bit of in the news segment. I'm going to start because I think I've been bought. This genie has been in the bottle for far too long. When we've been talking about, we've been on the air tonight. Deflategate. One of the biggest atrocities ever committed against not the Patriots, because the Patriots are cheaters. I'm a Patriots fan. They cheat. Every team cheats. They just cheat so well that they win and then they get caught, right? We now know, based off of a book that I believe it was Mike Florio he's prominent reporter, always on NBC. 11 of the 12 balls that were deemed to be outside the predicted range, that first Chris Mortensen report from ESPN. Do you know who his source was?
Who was it?
Troy Vincent. Troy Vincent told Mortensen that awful lie. Number one. Number two. You want to know what else really pisses me off, Bobby, about this? Can I just tell you?
Please tell me, Mike. I'm dying.
In the 2015 season, after Deflategate, after this big thing that caused the Patriots to win so many games, although they blew out the Indianapolis Colts, and then I guarantee you there wasn't a deflated ball in that stadium in the Super Bowl. Ones with testosterone or not at all, right? The Patriots won that game, balls fully inflated. The next year, the NFL decides what they're going to do is they're going to run a season-long report and a season-long test to test the ideal gas law, just to make sure that they can validate their argument against the Patriots. Do you know what happened? Do you want to know what happened, Bobby? Can you just guess what happened?
Judging by the NFL's track record with stating factual things that aren't factual, I'm going to guess it didn't go too well for them.
Okay, so that's right.
Were they without merit? Is that? Okay.
Here's what happened. Throughout the entire 2015 season, the NFL would record PSI levels of all football games and all footballs pregame, during halftime, and postgame. It was like the NFL was trying to see if nearly a 2-century-old scientific principle was actually true, and that's worth noting. The ideal gas law, because when Troy Vincent cited that 11 of the 12 were below what they should have been in that game, when asked about it, did he consider the science? He said, and I quote, "Science did not come into play." Don't quote me. Paraphrase me. That's what he meant, though. So now, fast forward to the 2015 season. Florio reports, once the numbers started coming in exactly as predicted and thus producing readings that would exonerate the Patriots, NFL General Counsel Jeff Pash ordered the data to be deleted. Talk about a hit job. Say what you want about the Patriots. Okay, I get it. They cheat. Yep. Spygate, all that. Sure. They still didn't tape the Rams in the walkthrough. And even if they did, and you knew about it, sorry, but they didn't do it. I mean, fine. For the NFL to launch this smear campaign against the guy who, up until that point, had been pretty much kept away from the Patriots cheaters. Tom Brady was clean, right? The fact that they made him sit out 4 games of a season that they eventually won the Super Bowl in, I get it. There was a TB12 revenge tour. That could have been a smear on his record, and it should never have been. Now, I'm a Patriot fan. I'm a Tom Brady fan. Sometimes it's hard, especially when he was playing, to figure out which one I was more of. But in reality, the Patriots have cheated. They've been caught cheating so much that they do not deserve the benefit of the doubt. Brady did. And the fact that the league destroyed evidence that would have exonerated him. And oh, by the way, they made up the story that Tom Brady destroyed his cell phone. Didn't happen. Never.
But it's unbelievable that the NFL would. So it's definitely not unbelievable that the NFL would delete, be a corrupt organization, and slide things under the table. That's 100% a fact. Second thing, it's so crazy that the NFL would take its greatest player ever, not one of the best, greatest player ever, and do this to him, to the point where everyone out there, if you haven't watched Man in the Arena, you need to right now, because it's amazing. If you watch that, man, he got to the point where, his mom was battling cancer. There was all this shit going on in his life. And I know we've all been there, okay? Where he just got to the point where it was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm not fighting this anymore. It's not worth my headache. I'd rather just put it behind me, serve my 4 games, and be done. The fact that you put the best quarterback ever in that position, to me, just speaks volumes about who you are as an organization. It's so crazy that this organization who said that racism in NFL head coaching hires was without merit, who didn't suspend Ray Rice at first, and then the video comes out, and all of a sudden he's public enemy number 1. Yeah. Who investigates millions of emails. Only one that comes out is John Gruden. And then you're going to bury your course. This is the most popular organization in the world.
Well, just like every other organization out there, it's a corrupt one now. I just don't want to conflate the two. One of the things that you just mentioned that we're talking about, Deflategate, is important in the context of sports. The other, and the racial disparity between head coaches and GMs, is important in the context of fucking human civilization and decency. Right. So
agreed. I'm not trying to put them on the same level, but at the same time, it's still the same level of cover up, same level of, oh shit, we fucked up. Let's do everything we can to not make it look like we fucked up, but that this person fucked up, or that you know what I mean? It's
I'm with you.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
So here's what this latest revelation has forced me to do. I've always said that innocent people don't settle, and don't accept the punishment. And the context of what evidence was actually submitted and what evidence was actually brought into the argument, Brady was wrong. But all the evidence wasn't brought in. What we just learned is that in the next year, once the data started to say, you know what, that ideal gas law that Troy Vincent never heard of and never even referenced and said that he didn't actually factor in any science, maybe that's actually proven that the fact that the Patriots were not deflating footballs to beat the Colts 184-10 in that AFC title game.
They really, I never understood that.
Not only did they bury it, but just remember, and this is the last thing I'm going to say about this because this is a Super Bowl show, it's not a Patriot show. Tom Brady served a 4-game suspension based on the Wells report and the fact that, quote, it was more probable than not that Brady was, quote, at least generally aware that the air had been released. And they knew for a moral certainty that that wasn't true. And it's no coincidence, again, that this revelation comes out the week that Tom Brady retires. Because if he was still in the league, I guarantee that the NFL would not have allowed Florida to publish this book. That's all I have to say about that. So, for all those people, you hate us because you ain't us. Again, Spygate was real. I admit that. They weren't the only team doing it. Doesn't make it right. Deflategate is the epitome of bullshit. And it's the epitome of pettiness where you have people who despise Bill Belichick because he knows the rules better than the rules committee and he exposes loopholes in them. And they act as if that's a defiant act. So they punished him when they could. And they could have tarnished, or they tried to tarnish the greatest, as you said, the greatest football player in NFL history.
And it's not as it's the facts, bro. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback, greatest football player to ever play the game, and it's crazy, man. It blows my mind that like I was saying before, that this is the organization that runs the sports world, that not only runs the sports world but runs the news world. You know what I mean? Like it's so much bigger than just sports, the NFL. And the fact that this is their PR and this is how they operate and these are the things that they do, just it blows my mind each and every time. I guess it shouldn't anymore, though, right? This is just who they are. So, I mean, you know what? We don't have to go too much into the news because the only thing I really wanted to talk about was what we talked about on the Discord earlier, and that's Kyler Murray removing all Cardinals affiliation from his Instagram page. I want to know if it's a big deal. Listen, I put a trade out there. I think it's juicy. Is Kyler on his way out? What's going on? Are we about to see Aaron Rodgers and
what a perfect time to freeze. What a perfect time to freeze, because you should never utter that moron's name out of your mouth. I mean, Aaron, just don't. I think what's more interesting is not the fact that he deleted all links to the Cardinals, but when he posted the picture, it was with Mike Evans, right? I mean, there seems to be a vacancy at quarterback in Tampa Bay. So Kyler to Tampa, now that intrigues me. That would be something. I mean, I think that instantly makes them, again, the best team in that division, because that division is crap. Now, the Saints, the best thing that they had was their coach. He's gone. He's the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. So if you get somebody like Kyler Murray in there, amazing. I think not to let all the air out of the balloon here, out of the room. I think that his contract is coming up, and he just wants more money. Like his rookie deal is set to expire, so he's playing hardball.
Yeah, it's
social media hardball.
Way less juicy though. That's
way
less juicy. I mean, that's really all I got, man. I mean, Rayshawn and DK really hit the nail on the head about the Flores thing last week, so I don't think we need to go too much into that, except that the NFL's fucking stupid. Without merit. Get the hell out of here without merit. I mean, that's really all I got, man. I can't wait for the Super Bowl. I really can't. The fact that we're seeing the Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl before the Dallas Cowboys does kind of kill me a little bit inside each time I hear about it. Fun fact for everyone, Joe Burrow was not alive the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl. He has been born, started playing football, played college football, got drafted number 1, and has gotten to a Super Bowl before the Dallas Cowboys. Unreal.
I would also say this game, we always talk about the NFL, parity. This is it. You have a team that has loaded up for 1 year versus a team that your future should be cemented as long as everybody stays healthy for the next 10. So you have a team that, again, if they don't win it this year, they're probably done for the next 5. And in the Rams and the Bengals, a team that maybe now this is where they're going to be for the next 5 to 10 years. When it's all said and done, this is exactly what you're looking for as a Patriots fan, as a Cowboy fan, as fans of teams that are not playing in February. This is the best case scenario because these are two teams that aren't always there, and it's going to be fun to watch. So, for the real BK Bob Kelly, for our executive producer Craig D'Alessandro, I am Michael Marcangelo saying thank you so much for listening to Missing the Point, and we will talk to you later.
Hey there, fabulous souls. I'm Stephanie Baklaan.
And I'm Eden Alpert.
And we're the hosts of the brand new podcast, Unapologetically Fab.
Get ready to join us on an amazing and real journey as we dive into life after 40 and own it.
We're all about changing the narrative, leaning into who you are, and living a life by your own design.
Join us as we embrace life unapologetically and redefine success.
This is Unapologetically Fab,
an Electric Cast production.
See you there.
Electricast. Electricast.
Welcome to Tuning Into Sound Wellbeing, where we harmonise your mind, body and soul. I'm Amanda, your sound therapy expert.
And I'm Stephen, the curious explorer uncovering the mysteries of sound.
Together we explore vibrations, frequencies and the power of sound therapy and tuning forks.
Discover ancient wisdom, reduce stress and tune into a healthier life. Subscribe to Tuning Into Sound Wellbeing today.
Electricast.